My name is Chipper Moore. I grew up in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and I work as an architectural drafting instructor at Doña Ana Community College in Las Cruces, New Mexico. As an architectural drafting instructor, I think my main responsibilities were to take knowledge that I had gained and pass that knowledge on to students. There were the obvious things that we wanted to teach in a classroom as far as knowledge, skills, and abilities. But I think the biggest thing that I wanted to do as an instructor when I was in the classroom was tell the students the things they needed above and beyond just the things they might get out of a textbook, that they would be able to then take my knowledge, my skills, and my abilities and my experience and add that to their own. That was an important part of what I did. There are a lot of things that drafters do that aren't going to be taught in a textbook, aren't going to be taught in an online, maybe a seminar or webinar or something along those lines that I call tips and tricks, and other people call other things, the secrets that people gain with experience. So sharing those with students was always important. So of course, I sought to prepare a student for employment primarily. That's what I wanted to achieve when a student came into my classroom, and spent a lot of time teaching the obvious things you would expect, like building code and how to lay out a building, design a building, make it functional. I focused a lot on residential drafting and design, so that's designing homes for people. And you want it to be a place that people want to live and enjoy, and that's part of the reward of being in architectural technology as a career, as well as being an instructor, is you are working on projects that really impact people's lives every day. They live in the house that you design. So I got into architectural technology myself by coming to Doña Ana Community College as a student. And I had always enjoyed drawing and designing and building things, in particular things like models, and was always interested in architecture. And so, to keep a very long story short, I ended up going to work for a local surveyor in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and was exposed to computer aided drafting. And I'd never seen it before. I had only been familiar with the old fashioned manual drafting with just pencil on paper and T squares and triangles and those kinds of things. And when I was exposed to computer aided drafting, it just opened up a new world to me. And I thought to myself that I didn't really want to be a surveyor, and that was not something that I necessarily wanted to do forever. But it had given me this chance, and I found Oneana Community College, found the drafting program, and went ahead and went back to school after having kind of dropped out of university, and found a lot of success. And it actually fit well, my skills, the way I liked to learn, the target of being able to do something when I got out of school, and see those tangible results were important to me. Being able to see a building that I designed, and when I left DACC, I had actually developed relationships with builders and contractors in the Las Cruces area during my time as a student that translated into a business that I actually ran for several years doing custom home design. And that lasted for a while. And then there was kind of a economic downturn, and a downturn in the housing market. And that led me to getting into teaching to kind of supplement my income. And then I realized how much I really liked teaching. And if anybody had asked me if I was going to be a teacher, I would say no, no, no way that I would ever become an instructor or a teacher. But I was able to then marry two things. I was able to marry the thing that I like to do, CAD drafting, with teaching, which I found out I was better at than I thought and liked more than I thought. And that transitioned me into a full time instructor position that I stayed in teaching full time for just about 19 years before becoming an administrator at DACC in the same area. But it really showed me success. It gave me an opportunity to take skills that I had and interests that I had and apply them to a career that has served me very well. So while in high school, I really took a lot of different kinds of classes. I was really on a track to prepare myself to go on to engineering. When I got to 11th grade in high school, I decided to opt for an elective course, which was drafting. And all my friends told me it was a waste of time and that I should be doing something more important. But it was interesting to me. I had, again, always liked to draw, thought it was something that I would be good at. And from the moment I got into that class, I realized this is something I really like. And so I proceeded to take that class in 11th grade, and I took it again in 12th grade, and did a lot of hand drawing in those particular classes because that was the technology of the time, and went from doing basic drawings to house plan layouts and other things, and actually drew the first house plan I ever drew while I was in high school, and it was actually built, and that was interesting because it was challenging to do that level of drafting that way. And so I think the things in high school that I look back on is many of the classes were helpful. Geometry and trigonometry paid off down the road, specifically in drafting. Those classes were important. The mathematical foundations I got, physics certainly was important. Science classes were very helpful, but I was viewed them in high school as preparation for engineering. I didn't realize how helpful they would be when I came back around in life to drafting and found it again, and realized that it was really what I was meant to do and should do as a profession. But looking back, I can certainly see the value of it. But I think I fell into the trap that many high school students do, and that is the perception or the belief that the only way to success is a university degree. And what I discovered for myself and have tried to share with students ever since is that isn't the only pathway. We need engineers in our society, and we need people that graduate with bachelor's degrees and master's degrees and even PhDs. But for every one of those people, we also need 10 or 12 or 15 technician level folks that graduate from community college, that graduate from programs like the one in which I teach and that I graduated from. And there's good opportunities to earn a excellent living, to have a lot of satisfaction, and to do very well. And so I kind of had to overcome that on my own and discover it on my own. And I try to help people realize that are in high school kind of making those decisions to think about that, know that there's more than one option, and hopefully maybe avoid some of the mistakes I made, and at the same time have an opportunity to get to what they're supposed to do sooner, rather than feel like they have to follow only one particular pathway to success.